And I feel confident enough that I've had a very good grounding. Been in the industry for 15 years already, and probably in hindsight, it was a fantastic thing that I went away from home to start my training career, develop my own skills along with the skills I've learned along the way, and come home with a big tool bag, so to speak.
Welcome to another edition of In the Box Seat podcast with my bushy-haired friend Andrew Harrison, myself Warren Lenferner, Tawanda Taravinga, who's running solo behind the cameras today. Got him doing some work for a change. That's only a joke. And our very special...
It's not a joke.
Oh, you're a little harder than I am. So now, our guest for this week. We've certainly been, as I say it all the time, our guests are all top quality and they all come at you thick and fast. Last week we were sitting with Mr. Greg Bortz. This week we're sitting with a young man who's come back to South Africa. We've missed him, but my oh my, we're looking forward to the journey ahead. His name is Mathew De Kock, and it gives us great pleasure to welcome him to our podcast today. Matt, how are you?
Yeah, very good, Warren. Thank you for having me on your show, and looking forward to the future.
We've tried to get Dad on a few times, but
He said he's already too famous.
he is always happy to do interviews, but he says the podcast, and he says, he'll let the new generation tell the story. So that's fantastic. But welcome back, and we've certainly missed you and lovely to have you back on our South African shores. Let's just quickly tell the public, from years back, the intention to go to Australia. Why did you go? What were you looking to do? And what happened in Australia?
Yeah, so it's a short recap of 5 years, which is a long time to have been there. The intention from the beginning was just to go and see if there was an option for us to have a yard there, and if there was some way we could link moving horses from South Africa, Dubai to Australia, back, etc. So we kind of went over with no real cemented game plan, and we're just very open-minded in the way we went about things. And the way fate happened was we moved over in March 2020, and COVID happened 2 weeks later. So in some ways it was bad, but in another way it was really good, because it meant that I was stuck there with Monique, my wife, for a long time, and there was no chance of us coming home. So it got us through that homesick period. We initially had plans to build stables at Cranbourne, which is where I was training. And because of COVID, that all fell through. All that was delayed. So I ended up working for another trainer there, Robbie Griffiths. And after 6 months, Robbie said to me, instead of going on your own or waiting to go on your own, your stables to be built, why don't we just join up in a partnership and be stronger together? So obviously, hanging around doing nothing was becoming frustrating, and this looked like a great opportunity for me to join an already established yard. And so I joined the yard November 2020, and we did four good years there, training in partnership, a lot of success, a lot of good times, a lot of tough times. We've grown a lot personally and professionally, and overall was a good experience. So it was a moving ball, so to speak, heading over to Australia, and it moved in a good direction, and we're ready to come home now. So yeah.
Your father's always a forward thinker, so that's how you ended up in Australia.
Yeah. I mean, Australia.
He's always looking for the gap.
Exactly. And having gone to Australia previous years, buying horses at their sales and bringing them back home, we've made a lot of connections there. So we thought it was a viable option for us to go there, because there was a lot of contacts for us there, and people knew our name there. And Australia is probably in the top 3 racing industries in the world. So if you can go there, make a name for yourself, it would be a good feather in your cap, and that was the thought process going there. So, good experience.
Yeah. And Robbie Griffiths, how did you work together? I mean,
the CEO of Cranbourne Racing Complex, Neil Bainbridge, he put us in touch with Robbie and said, if you want to go work, because I said to him I'd like to go and work for a trainer before setting up my own yard there, just to get the lay of the land, see how things work. And he said, if you want to work for someone, go and work for Robbie. So that's how we landed up in Robbie's yard. And it was a good experience working with Robbie. It was nice to work with someone that has completely different ideas, because obviously I've had a good tutelage under my old man, but to go and work for someone that's on another side of the world, completely different upbringing. It had its challenges. Obviously, we have different ideas, but it was good to bounce things off and learn from each other. And overall, I grew a lot from it.
Yeah. So how did you work it? I mean, did you have your string and Robbie had his string, or because two people can't train one horse?
No, we managed to work together, and obviously in the beginning it was mostly Robbie's clients there, but then I had a lot of South African support, which was fantastic, and was obviously in charge of making all the decisions for their horses. But the support was amazing, and to have people, support you from back home is something that I'm quite proud of, because it's not easy to have that. Yeah.
You know, you mentioned that saying, two people can't train one horse, which is, I don't know, maybe correct. Years ago, it was probably correct. I don't know now in today's day and age, with training partnerships, it's not a, if you join in a partnership, obviously, you get on with one another, you bounce ideas off. So maybe two people can train a horse. Mike and Matt train a horse together, Robbie and him trained a horse together, and there's many other partnerships, James and Brett Crawford.
It's quite different with Mike and Matthew training.
Yes, well, two complete strangers can't do it. No, but I mean, 100%, two complete strangers can't do it, but I mean, it can be done, and I think I would rather be in a training. Pardon?
Matt showed it.
Absolutely. I would rather, because you've got two strong minds, obviously, you're going to have your differences, but I mean, that's where you discuss it and you come up with one final answer to train that one horse.
I like to kind of compare it to a marriage. It was almost like an arranged marriage, and we were learning about each other as we went along.
Yes.
So whereas like me and my dad have had a relationship for 10 years before we're going to start training together. So we know how each other works and the systems work. So
yes.
Good experience.
So back home, just as you said, the time was right. But before we talk about coming back home, Monique, you mentioned both your kids were born in Australia. Is that right?
Yeah, we went over, single couple, and got married, got engaged, got married, and then Liam was born 3 years ago, and Olivia's just been born 3 months ago. So family's expanded, and we're coming home with a lot more than the 2 suitcases we went there with. So,
Did you come back with? Do they get Aussie citizenship now?
No, unfortunately, we haven't managed to get that, which is a little bit of a disappointment. Having been there for 5 years, but the visa system is extremely complicated. So, but it doesn't matter. We're more than happy to come home. So,
the De Kock family, was there ever any stage where everybody was going to go and pack up and live in Australia? You, Mom, everybody. Was that ever a thought?
Yeah, it definitely was a thought. Obviously, we juggled around a few ideas all the time. But when push came to shove, we decided that for us it was all better that we all came back here.
Yeah.
So we had a nice family meeting in August last year and decided it was time.
Now, on the plane with, as you say, a lot more than what you went with, and back to South Africa, you obviously didn't come back just to come back. There's a business plan, there's a thought. What's the plan? What's the thought process? Because, social media is active, you're social media active, etc., and there's exciting times ahead, Matthew.
Yeah, the world's at our feet, so to speak. I'm coming back very hungry. I want to win a Trainers' Championship, and I'd like to hopefully get dreams to get horses good enough to start traveling again and competing on the world stage.
Yeah, because now, I mean, with the relaxation of all the protocols and things like that, I mean, the world's your oyster.
Yeah,
sure. If you can find a few decent horses here, you can really have a go.
And I feel confident enough that I've had a very good grounding, been in the industry for 15 years already, and probably in hindsight it was a fantastic thing that I went away from home to start my training career, develop my own skills along with the skills I've learned along the way, and come home with a big tool bag, so to speak.
Did you find anything in Australia that would work here?
There's plenty of ideas that I'm bringing home with me, but they're state secrets. I won't put on camera.
Absolutely.
I guess we follow, but Matthew De Kock.
So if you basically, if you want to find out what the Australian state secrets are that Matthew's brought, send a horse to the De Kocks. It's simple as that, and enjoy the benefits.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Our doors are open. Whereas previously maybe people thought we were hard to approach and big clients, etc. But like I said, I'm very hungry. I want to win the Trainers' Championship, so our doors are open to anyone, and we're happy to have winners.
Yeah, I know, because also with big trainers like your dad, the little bloke is a bit sort of hesitant. I said, well,
Yeah.
I want to go to Mathew De Kock. He might be a bit too good for us.
Well, I think
Rather go to someone else.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, and I hear with what you're saying. But I think now that as time's marched on, yes, of course, Mark and Matthew, have got a goal to go to Dubai and to around the world. But if you've seen them a horse that's rated 43, they're going to battle. So you've got to juggle a bit. But I think that now that Matthew said the doors are open, they're approachable. It's I think the smaller owner and maybe the syndicates, etc., could approach them. That's what I'm saying. Not that they couldn't approach them before, but they're open for business. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, it's something that I've learned, being in Australia. They have massive syndicates, small owners, so every person in your yard has got to be appreciated, and you've got to give them a good service, and that's what one of the things I'm bringing back from Australia is, even although you can't guarantee winners, we like to believe we have a lot of them, but
Yes.
the journey along the way is just as important as the winner.
Yeah, because those syndicates are huge, some of them.
They're massive. I mean, there's horses there with thousands of owners in them, so
Yeah.
that's what runs Australian racing is syndicate ownership.
And what Greg mentioned in the podcast last week about the syndicates is that obviously if there's 1,000 members or 150 members, they've appointed a manager, because of course if you want to make a decision, you can't go and get an opinion from 1,000 people, 1,000 different opinions. You can't do anything.
When it comes to South African racing, everybody's got an opinion. Yeah.
Matt, then the structure of the business in South Africa at the moment. What is it? How is it? How many yards? What are the plans for SA?
Yeah, at the moment, obviously, my dad's recently relocated to Durban, and we've got 40 boxes here. And in Joburg, we have 75 boxes. So we'll start off with that. It looks like I'll probably be based in Joburg while Dad's based here. And we'll run the 2 yards cohesively, work together, send horses between the centres wherever we think they're going to suit, time of the year, the seasons, etc. So we hope that it'll be a nice, well-oiled machine. It's going to take time to build up the numbers again, because obviously since I was in Australia, my dad was always holding back the numbers because he didn't want to work too hard. But now we've got with me back on board, he's got a nice pep in his step and a lot of energy again. So we'll build it up to a good number again.
You mentioned that bit of a pep in his step, and Mark mentioned it in an interview, but nevertheless, it wasn't an interview I did. He said that, and I use these words, the lighty has breathed life back into me.
Yeah.
Not, and funny, as he mentions that in the lead up to that interview, and just over the past when you worked with him, he was, focused, doing his job, having his winners, etc. But since you've come back, you can see that he's got that. He even got a hole in one. I mean, that's how enthused he was, But yeah, you can see that there's a new pump to him, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it certainly is, and hopefully that I can already see in the yard that the vibe amongst all the staff is also strong, because I think everyone's is happy to have that same team spirit we had 6-7 years ago. So upward and onward.
A couple of nice horses. We jump around in our discussions, but that's okay. 2 horses over this weekend that I'm really excited about, and one that I engage with Robert Bloomberg on many occasions. About that horse, and he owns it with Alan Mello, and your dad, I think, is the third partner. Forgiveness. She seems to be going about it the right way. I mean, an exciting filly.
Yeah, she's really turned the corner and matured. Obviously, it looked like in her form that she was just a little bit immature, and that just shows you when you give a horse a bit of time, they can come right. And she's full of confidence now, and hopefully she can just keep improving.
Spumante Dolce is the other one, and over the weekend, unbeaten and could be absolutely anything.
Yeah, she could be anything. I mean, she's just bred in the purple from an unbelievable family, and I love the way she won on the weekend. She just looked like she was still in neutral, having a good look around. So the sky is certainly the limit with that filly.
You talk about family, let's talk about human families. 2 families in particular that have been very good, or shall I say 2 farms, 2 families, Mauritzfontein, Wilgerbosdrift, Slacks, Gels. They're literally part of the family, really. Your family, the De Kock family.
Certainly are. I mean, I go back to when I was like 10, 11 years old. I grew up on a farm in Joburg, owned by Mary, and Jess was also growing up at the same time on the farm. And my mom obviously ran the babies from that farm, and we had a fantastic upbringing with them, and they do feel like family. And it's nice that even today we're still having this great success. I mean, last year, Give Me Another was a sensation, and hopefully this filly that won on the weekend can be the same. So it's great memories and a great relationship that we have.
Give me another. What's the update? We know she's travelled and there's exciting plans, but how is she?
Yeah, she's good. She's arrived in Florida with Graham Motion there, so obviously it'll take some time for her to settle in and to get up to match fitness again, but all reports are that she's healthy and well.
No, I just hope she does well, but
I'm sure she's unbelievable.
because she'll showcase our racing. But the thing is, when, like, if she starts winning, like she did here, then the Americans will say, "Oh, these are not bad horses." And we got Zivungu Vungu, and if one stripe happens to go over and run in the Breeders' Cup again,
It's big already. It could be huge.
It could be huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I was seeing with John Freeman saying now all the stud farms are sort of cut back because of shrinking. There was no stakes in shrinking racing, but now they can fire again.
Yeah. And quid pro quo, another one going.
Instead of having cows, you can have horses.
Yeah. So that's the family, and of course Jahan and of course the Sheikhs, and you guys have been blessed with all types of owners, but some mammoth ones really. Yeah,
we've had a stellar last 10-15 years with great owners that are internationally renowned and locally renowned. So hopefully, by signaling our intent to be back and be hungry again and export protocols open, it seems like the feedback from a lot of people, Hollywood Bets, Ridgemont, all of them, that everyone's got a pep in their step and they want to be involved in competing, and so hopefully we can sync nicely together and have a lot of success going forward.
Yeah, well, it was nice when Mike was, when your dad was king of Dubai, when he was the first bloke to actually see what was capable, what had a big vision, and eventually the Americans, the cash just took over. So, but Mike's different class, I promise you.
Yeah,
he can see things when other people don't.
Yeah, absolutely. The Hollywood Bets, let's talk about them, because training winners for them. Turk Connell won yesterday, and a lot of horses, a lot of support in the game, and lovely that they've given you guys a couple of horses, and there's a lovely relationship there too, along with Ridgemont, Devon, etc. Yeah,
it's going to be a nice relationship, and really looking forward to that. Obviously, my dad's made a nice connection with Owen and Devon and the team, and Anthony from riding for us, as a stable jockey. So things have worked out nicely, and they're going about things the right way. Beautiful setup in Ashburton, lots of nice young well-bred horses. So those people are great for the industry, whether the horses are with us or with other trainers or whatever. They are fantastic for the industry, and we need them. So we obviously always got to be thankful to them.
Matthew, just listening to the way you're talking now, did the Aussie press line you up?
Yeah, the Aussie press are I don't know how to explain it. They're full on, because the racing there is full on. There's big money, big incentives, big number of people working in the industry. So in that regard, I grew a lot as well, handling the press, the media, the owners. It's definitely on another level here, not the professionalism, but just the amount of it. It's non-stop and consistent. And if you get a good horse, you're always in the media, and you need to be open with the media and let them know what's happening. Gone are the days of treating everyone like mushrooms and keeping them in the dark. So that's one of the things that I'm bringing home.
Because I remember the first advice that when David Payne went over, they said to him, be open.
Yeah.
Don't cock a deafy to the press, because otherwise you'll die.
Yeah. I've always embraced the media, because it's a sport, and when I watch rugby or cricket, I want to know what's going on with the players and the team, and that's the way racing should be.
Yeah, but it's racing now. That say, well, you're going to tip, what can we win? And I mean, that's the difference between rugby and soccer.
But also too, if you stopping Mathew De Kock, if you're a complete stranger on the race course, or anybody, you, me, Matthew, whoever, and you're stopping and saying, what's good, what's the graft for the day? I mean, that's not media. That's if you want to put out on your Facebook, these are 7 runners.
But if you have a show now,
we
have a show now. They want to know what's going to win.
Yeah, well, I mean, then look on the social media platforms. I mean, it's look on the social media platforms. Most trainers put their comments up, their thoughts up. There's messages that go out. So it's not a tipping graft show, if you know what I'm saying. One person but before I speak about that one person, let's go back to, you said you're going to bring that back from Australia, communication, transparency, etc. hugely important. The owners today want to be communicated to.
Correct. I mean, you don't want to get a bill at the end of the month and have to find out on the bill what happened to yours that month. It was sick or gelded or injured or whatever,
Yes.
you know. Owners, like you say, today's day and age, with technology, things have got to be instant. You've got to be sending out reports, letting people know the horse is running on this date or pulled up well, next race is here. There was a high demand for that in Australia. That was also a massive eye-opener for me. Obviously, my dad's come from that school where it's a bit slower in that regard, so got a few ideas on that front too, which I'll be implementing as well.
You see, us old bullets, we don't worry about social media.
Yeah, but that's when you set up your team so great, which Mike is doing. That of course, Mike doesn't want to sit there sending WhatsApps and all the rest of it, but Matt will, because he's sharp on the WhatsApp. Not saying that Mike's not. He's got an assistant, etc. That's people want to know. I mean, videos and all the rest of it. They certainly do want to know. The next person I want to speak to you about is somebody who is in the room with us, enjoying her breakfast, and not on our podcast. Maybe one day we'll get her on. But she's a huge, plays a huge role in the business. Besides keeping her two boys on the straight and narrow, she's got a huge role. What is her role, and how does she do it?
Yeah, well, obviously, that quote, behind every man or successful man is a strong woman, and that's always been the case with my mom. When my dad was away from home, her role was, bringing us up and me and my sister and making sure we got to school on time and did all the right things. But she was wearing two caps as well, because she was always breaking in the young babies, and that's possibly one of the most important things in the yard, is to give a young horse a good grounding. Really stands them in good stead in time. So she's still doing that with her team in Joburg. We've had many champions go through her hands successfully, and it's great to have a person like her on our team as well. My dad wouldn't be where he is today, and myself, if it wasn't for her.
And is she enjoying the relocation to Umhlanga Rocks?
Yes, she is. She's got lots of friends down here, and she's certainly enjoying it.
Yeah. And there's a lovely shopping centre called Gateway, not too far up the hill as well. It's fantastic. She certainly does do a fabulous job. And where's your sister? What is she doing?
So my sister's in America. She married an American fella, Clancy, and they've got 3 kids now. So she overtook me very quickly. She had twins this year.
Okay.
So very excited for her, but not sure if there's plans for her to come back in the pipeline. She was never really a horsey person. So we'll see what the future holds for her.
I was going to say, you mentioned never a horsey person, so she's not, obviously she keeps track of the family business, how many winners, etc., who's doing what, but she's not really as passionate as you and Dad. And
No, she's more on the dancing side, runs a dance studio there in America, so not a horsey person.
Whereabouts is she?
North Dakota, which is somewhere that you don't want to go.
Yeah, it's very cold at the moment.
Have you spoken to a couple of people that have travelled to get to those places? How many connecting flights and going?
But apart from that, I see Donald Trump is getting inaugurated today, and it's -11. Lovely place. That's New York.
And yesterday they banned TikTok. Is that right? I think.
Yeah, but it's back online.
Is it back? Okay, it was banned for 24 hours. Is that what it was? Matthew, any hobbies or sports interests that you enjoy?
Yeah, I'm a big sports fan. Love soccer, support Liverpool.
Yes.
Okay, in the please. No, I don't know anything about soccer. Liverpool. Who's Liverpool?
They're top of the league at the
They
moment.
won the last game, didn't they?
Yeah, they're playing very well. And love my golf, so I play a lot of golf. And looking forward to coming back here playing golf. But yeah, just in general, love all sports, and obviously now having kids, that's become important, spending time with the kids and Monique.
But you had plans of being a professional golfer, didn't you?
Yeah, I wouldn't say professional. I was getting there. I was got down to a low handicap at the end of school, and I managed to get a scholarship to an American university. And because we had 9 months free, I had the gap year to kind of do what I wanted. And I said to myself, having previously not had much horse experience, I said, let me go work for mom and dad and just earn some extra cash. And from day one that I stepped into actually my mom's yard, I said, no, this is what I want to do. I want to be a trainer. So I gave up the scholarship in America and stuck on the path of being a horse trainer.
Oh, right. I see the bloke who won the Dubai Classic, he got $1.5 million.
Yeah.
Lovely baby.
It's big money if you're at the top, but I don't think I would have been.
No, at the bottom you're not so good.
Yeah.
Monique, what is she doing? Is she going to be part of the team?
Yeah, I think she will. We're just gonna move home and settle in, and she'll take on any role that she wants. She's she's a fantastic horsewoman in her own rights. Obviously, I met her in racing, and she was at the end when we left. She was Sean Terry's head assistant, and you know, she's got a wealth of knowledge herself. She probably trained a horse better than me. So we're just gonna settle with the kids and figure out where she wants to fit in, if she wants to fit in, or if she wants to go and do something else. That's entirely up to her. She worked with me at Robbie's in Australia, so she's also had the good experience and the grounding there. And yeah, you know, we've got a fantastic relationship between the two of us. But first and foremost, her new job is mommy.
Okay.
Yeah. I met her for the first time at Ashburton. She was there with Tammy Dawson.
Yeah, she was working for Johan at the time.
Johan Janssen from Sheeran. Yeah, so the two of them were looking after his horses at Ashburton. Yeah.
That's right. You got a good memory. Monique is Donovan's sister. Is that right?
Yeah, Donovan.
So Donovan Mansour is your brother-in-law.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. And I saw he's riding again. Is that right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, he had a terrible fall and had a bad injury to his pelvis and had a long time off, 4 or 5 years off, and just started riding again. So I'm sure he's excited by that. So he's still in New Zealand.
Yeah, well, he's been instrumental in Warren Kennedy and getting on top of everything. So
absolutely fabulous human being is Donovan, and we certainly miss him. And glad that he's back in the saddle, exactly where he belongs. The next question is.
Yes.
And every job there's a difficult situation. How do you deal with challenges? You know, if there's an owner that's maybe grumbling or a staff member that's not towing the line, these are challenges we all face. How do you handle those situations?
Yeah, I think you handle them through experience. You know, learning from previous situations, and then if you have something it's a hard situation to approach, you call on people that have been there before you and done it. People like my dad and mom, that have been in the industry for 40 years are great people to lean on when there's a scenario. And there's, like you say, there's probably the easiest situation is the horses. The most difficult situation can be people, staff, you know. But there's going to be those challenges in any business. So you just have to have the right people to lean on and give you the correct advice.
Fantastic. That's the worst part about training staff.
Well, I mean, as Matthew says, in all businesses, really, you know, you have staff issues. It is what it is. You know, you talk to people in the restaurant trade, any trade. I mean, it's just when you're dealing with people, humans, you know, everyone's got different personalities, different opinions, and that unfortunately happens. It is what it is. I mean, look at you and I, we don't get on very well.
No, I know.
But, Matt, yeah, sure, it's exciting, and we could go on and talk as much as we can about the story. But if somebody wants to get hold of you, I see that you've got a lovely Facebook page. If somebody wants to get hold of you to talk about the yard and to try and see about the horses, etc., not to find out what's good in the fourth and what can we punt and all the rest of it, that you do in other platforms. And as I said, I see that you've started to post up your runners. Yeah. How do they get hold of you?
Yeah, obviously social media is probably the easiest and most convenient way these days. So just De Kock Racing on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and then all our contact details are on the website as well. So De Kock Racing. Get hold of us, don't be shy. We're very approachable and looking forward to it.
There's a lot of travelling I see in between. You know, just before we talk about the lot of travelling, you're going back to Oz for a bit now, is that right? Yeah,
so the little complication is that the newborn doesn't have a South African passport yet.
Okay.
And so unfortunately the family couldn't come with me on this trip. So I'm going to go back on Sunday after the Met, and then hopefully the documentation is not too long and we can be home really soon.
Yeah, so that's another trip. Then your sponsors, you also the yard sponsored by Betway, Jonathan Blumberg and that team.
Yes, yeah. So they're happily keeping the sponsorship, even although I'm joining the yard. They could have said they don't like me and ditch the sponsorship, but they've had a nice relationship with Dad, and looking forward to a continued one.
Travelling, so you know, of late you've been Joburg. You know, you see racing. You know, Mike, your assistant, was there yesterday, but at the other meeting, you know, winners, boom, there's Mike and Matt. Forgiveness is race meeting, boom, there's Mike and Matt. So a bit of travelling, and I mean, I suppose it's a hop to Joburg, really.
Yeah, I mean, these days you jump on a plane and it's only an hour flight.
Yes.
But it's really not a lot of travelling if you think about it that way. And as I move back, things will be easier. Probably just be one of us going down there, or one of us staying
or maybe once a month or something.
Yeah.
You know, to
we'll work it out. We're just gonna move back home. We'll probably come stay here with Mum and Dad for a bit and just settle in and get into a routine, and then figure out where we want to live and stay. And
I was going to say, do you have do you have to start looking for a new home in Johannesburg? I mean, now that everyone's relocated to Durban, is properties no more. You need to search for more property.
I actually have a house in Johannesburg in Lone Hill,
Okay.
which I never sold. I carried on renting whilst we were in Australia, but we would like to move closer to Wilgerbosdrift. It's a bit of a journey from there. So I haven't started looking at houses yet because the wife's the most important person when it comes to that. So we'll wait till she gets back and then we'll start
The
looking.
Minister of Finance,
Correct.
you'll learn about that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's absolutely the decisions about the home, because it's the most important. Matt, as Andrew was saying, no runners at the Met. That's the way I suppose the cards fell. But I mean, you've competed at those meetings. But what is one of the last questions, and it's going to be a difficult one because there's so many moments as Tony Riverland comes charging into the dining room. Your most important, not most important, one of your most memorable, proudest moments with your dad. And maybe with you in your career.
I've been so lucky that I've had many great moments, but one that sparked yesterday actually was because I was hanging out with my good friend Mark Shea. Was probably one of the happiest days of my life. Was winning the Guineas with a horse that he had sharing, taking the piece.
Okay.
And a good friend of ours, Murray Makepeace, and my dad was in the ownership as well. He was actually in Australia at the sales when she won. So that was a really special memory because Mark's been one of my childhood friends. He was my best man at my wedding. So to have his first horse that we bought just for a bit of fun, have her win the Guineas and the Classic, that was an awesome time in my life and my family and friends' life. Yeah. It's a tough industry, as you guys know. So if you can have people in the industry that understand the industry and why it's so tough and see eye to eye with you, it's fantastic. So I mean, you live and breathe the industry, you're in it 7 days a week. If you don't have friends in the industry, it's going to be a very tough time.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. Well said.
It's nice to have friends outside the industry too, but
sure.
At the end of the day, the people in the industry, they get you. When you have a bad day, they understand.
Absolutely, so. Matt, all that we can do is wish you all the very best. And as I said, we could have sat for 2 hours, but we haven't got the time, and you're a busy man. And just thank you. Andrew and I just want to close up to talk about this big meeting for a moment and a bit of news. So we're not going to ignore you. If you just give us 2 minutes, please feel free to chip in. Enjoy some ice cold water, and then we'll officially thank you and close the show. This is a cracker meeting. So, of course, at Hollywood Bets, Kenilworth, Saturday the 25th of January. I'll quickly run you through it. The first race is the Summer Juvenile Stakes. Second race, Mallorca Stakes, Grade 1. Summer Fling Stakes, Grade 3. The Western Cape Stayers, Grade 3, Class 3. Olympic Jewel Stakes, listed event. How's this menu? Cape Flying Championship, Cape Town Met. World Sports Betting, Cape Town Met. That is Politician Stakes and Class 4, A Stakes, Class 4. It's a book full of betting opportunities, thanks to all the sponsors that make these big days possible.
What do you fancy for me?
That's another debate, because I have 3 horses. And there's no rule that says you can't back 3 horses in a race. So let me finish. The first horse that I like is my original fancy always, Oriental Charm. That last run's got me a little on the fence, but having spoken to Greg, he said they were a little disappointed, but the aim is the Met, the World Sports Betting Met. So Oriental Charm, huge respect for 8 on 18. There's big talk for 8 on 18, but I think I'm leaning towards Rascallion. Nat, talk to me. What do you like for the Met?
Yeah, it's an interesting race. There's no real head and shoulders weight for age champion. Red Palace is another horse that I quite like.
That's the one I'm doing. Red Palace. You left her out of the traffic.
She's good value.
Okay, Red Palace. A good value for Red Palace with Andrew and Matthew.
And Montaigne, I see Montaigne is tipped to win in the winning form.
Okay. So Montaigne absolutely.
I thought if Double Grand Slam ran in the Met, she would just win. Red Palace ran right behind her. I think on that basis is how I've made up my mind.
And Red Palace has beaten it.
Yeah. I see on the various betting platforms you mentioned Double Grand Slam. I was having a look. It's the average around 14 to 10. I think it's an absolute gift. 14 to 10, don't you? I mean,
it's your cash.
But anyway, that's it. So it's going to be a great race meeting, which will be sent out to you on Gallup TV and, of course, all the various other platforms.
And you've got the sale on Thursday? Sales
on Thursday that we've covered. Are you going to? When are you going down to the Cape?
Yeah, I'm going down tomorrow.
Okay.
So we'll be there for the sale.
So we'll be there for the sale. And who's that?
Daryl.
Daryl, okay, riding by on a horse with no name. So Thursday, so you will be at the sales,
Yes.
looking at all the lots and very active.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. Then you'll attend the Met, and then Sunday from Cape Town out to Australia.
Straight, go via Dubai, Melbourne.
Okay, well, that's fantastic.
It's a
Well, we look forward to seeing you down in the Cape, because we too. We've made life easy for you, hey? We've made life easy for you, because you were going to be doing the podcast on Thursday, lonely, because I'm on a week's leave,
That's cool.
and we brought it forward to Monday.
But you did the thing yesterday at Scottsville. I got all dressed up. I stepped outside. 35 degrees. I said, no, bugger that.
Yeah, it was hot.
I went back and jumped in the swimming pool.
It was absolutely hot. Yes. But Matt, we'll see you in the Cape.
Thank you, Warren.
We look forward to it, and to you and your whole family, all the best. We're going to follow the journey. It's already been an incredible journey that you've taken all of us South Africans on. We're going to keep following it, and hopefully we can support you in some way. All the best, and just a pleasure talking to you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, no, I think you've put yourself out there now. Everybody watches the show. You do that?
Did you not see how many? Don't start it with me, please. Don't start it. You didn't see the amount of views. We had one comment, I think, which I told the team to delete, because we do not tolerate
No, man, you
negativity.
must always put the rude stuff
No,
on. That's the best part.
No, absolutely not. It's
No,
not.
but Matthew, thank you very much for coming on the show, and you've put yourself out there in a really good way, so we appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Yeah, pleasure, absolutely. So watch this space, follow the De Kocks on all their social media, follow them at the races, and we wish them all the very best, because they've competed at the highest level around the world. They know what it takes to train winners. From Warren Inferno, Andrew Harrison and Mathew De Kock, punt well, be safe, be kind, and we will see you as always in the number 1 box.